Ecto watches. Have you ever grinded a board game? I know you've grinded. Yeah, I've grinded many board games. Twitch culture, when I worked at Twitch, there was a big board game culture played after work and sometimes during lunches, and it was competitive, and I would grind. I was very competitive at Twitch. It was a gamer's paradise, and I wanted to be the most fucking all-around gamer at Twitch. I wanted to be the very best. Famously, I went to work early one day, and I went to the Target near the Twitch office, and I bought a big whiteboard, and then I wrote Atriox money matches on it, and I wrote the odds I would give for every single game, and I hung it up in the office, and then I would take fucking challenges. So one of them was, there was this guy named Carl, who I haven't told the story, but this guy named Carl, who I think is truly a very smart guy, kind of a genius. I knew about him because my good friend Golf, who was also a great engineer at Twitch, really looked up to him. He was older than Golf. He was older than both of us. At the time, the very popular board game was called Splendor. It's like this. It's a game with diamonds and jewels, and it was very popular at the time. He was considered the best in the office. They would play it in groups of 4 at lunch. What I did was, I think this is on my Steam, I downloaded the Steam version of Splendor and I grinded it for 200 hours. Then I casually brought up to Carl that we should play a Splendor 1v1. And I won. Did not tell anybody that I had grinded it for 200 hours. Just wanted people to go around. Oh, Atriox actually beat Carl at Splendor. You were probably very popular. I wouldn't say this was negative to my popularity, okay? I'm not trash talking after I win. That's not psycho shit, all right? It's grussel, it's hustle. So in high school, again, I had 4 different high schools. I moved a lot. And I would often use games as a way to make friends, because you would move across country. Yo, you like this game? Well, you like Halo or whatever? You know, get into that. And one thing I came up with, this is not a good way to make friends. This is a weird grind set thing that I had for the last place I lived, which is Arizona, which, by the way, these guys are my lifelong friends now. But this group of people invited me, this guy named Patrick, he had like a yearly LAN party. So anyone who was even like somewhat nerdy, his parents like really got into it. So they would set up the whole house, and it was sick. And Patrick wasn't even really a gamer. He was like one of those kids that's already into coding. And so he would like set up, you get the fucking whole server set up and like an internal LAN server. And he loved that shit. Like he's probably making a ton of money now as a thing. He's hosting this LAN party and he's inviting, you know, everyone who's even somewhat into games. And we would go every year, and I got invited and I was pretty stoked about it. And I would play these games or whatever. Anyway, at one of these LAN parties, which would last all weekend, I invented, this is probably the second one I went to after I felt comfortable. I invented this thing called the 3-day challenge. And the 3-day challenge is, you tell me what your favorite game is, like what you think you're the best at, and then I'm gonna beat you at it by the end of Sunday. And so what I would do is all weekend, I wouldn't play any games with anyone else. I would just grind the one game they were good at. And then at the end of it, I would 1v1 them and everyone would be watching, and then I would try to beat them. I wouldn't do this now. Not only because I'm not in the same type of person, but I feel like it's coming off more sociopathic than it really was. It was a good energy. All I would say, there's a twinkle in my eye, okay? It's all in good fun. But anyway, Patrick was good at Warcraft 3, and I never played that game. So he told me like, yeah, I could beat you at Warcraft 3. And so I grinded Warcraft 3 all fucking weekend, while Patrick, not grinding it, just worked on the LAN party, like making sure everything was running. And then at the end of the 3rd day, I just tower rushed him with humans 3 times in a row. And I beat him all 3 times, and it worked. It worked. I mean, it just fucking worked, bro. I don't know what to say. He wasn't ready for it. It's kind of crazy you had friends. All right, well, the thing is, I had a good energy. All I'm saying is it's a grind set thing. And then Patrick never had a LAN party again. No, he did have a LAN party, okay? And we all know you were a graceful winner. I was a graceful winner, just wasn't invited. I was invited. I was invited to the next one. This was not as big of a deal as you guys are making it. It was more my mental problem. It didn't affect other people in such a way. Did you ever fail a 3-day challenge? So I don't know if I failed a 3-day challenge, because literally, here's the deal. If you're talking about average people, especially in a pre-Twitch, pre-live streaming, YouTube, I mean, YouTube's there, but like widespread pro gamer environment, people on average are just awful at all the games they play. Average people are just really bad at like whatever game they think they're good at. They're awful, right? People are just not good. So if you just take 3 days and you like actually study what's a good strategy, you study one thing really well, you grind it, generally they won't be able to hand up. It's like, that's the idea. People just aren't very good. I had this whole mindset that I have softened a bit on, but I've talked about this in the past. Like, my mindset is like getting into the top 10% of anything is actually very easy because half the people don't even fucking try. That's the idea. The idea is like getting to above a gold level at anything is very easy. And I wanted to prove that. And I had this whole idea of like hard work beats talent. And you know, I was really into it. I was really into it. All right. So I would like always kind of try to push it. And I've softened, okay? But that's what I used to be. So the only thing is, when I started working at Twitch, again, when I did 3-day challenges back then, and this is only for like 2 years, maybe max, they all worked, but we would always play things that like I could get good at and they weren't very good at. When I worked at Twitch, which is not that far off, again, that's only 4 years later, and I would start challenging everybody. I think I was one of the biggest grinders in the office, and like I was captain of the Twitch League of Legends team when we fought Amazon and other tech companies. But however, when I put up my money match board, many of my things were mispriced. At Twitch, you are dealing with not just like average gamers. At Twitch, you were dealing with some of the best gamers in the world. Like Twitch had a partnerships team that would hire like Mike Ross for FGC, would hire Bobby Scar for Melee. Do you know what I'm saying? It would hire really people who had dedicated their life to these games. So like I remember I had to add addendums. So I had a thing on there like I would money match people at Melee except for Scar and Toph. Like I had to put a fucking addendum on there because obviously Scar came up to me and he saw the board. Oh, you think you're hot shit? You want to play? And of course Scar could beat Scar was way better than me. He played since 2009 consistently. So like I couldn't give him, I was giving like fucking 5-to-1 odds. I just couldn't. That is where I first encountered that. How'd you have the audacity? I had this whole vibe. I was really into the grind set, I would say, at the time at Twitch. I think my first 2 years at Twitch, this is when I wasn't even dating. I wasn't doing anything. I lived like a monk, dude. I would be at the office 16 hours a day. And when I wasn't at the office, I was probably grinding a game. And so I was like, I wanted to like grind marketing. I wanted to grind video games. Every weekend I was going to a different event. So I would go to like PAXs or Evo or any tournament. Like that's what I would do during Twitch. So it was all like a real degenerate. And it wasn't until Ari moved to San Francisco that I started to slowly change my life, which is a good thing. Isn't that the grind set? I think I still have a grind set in me. I think if it takes over your whole life, it's pretty unhealthy. I think it's pretty unhealthy to like just pick a random thing and then obsess about it for as long as fucking possible. I think I've just tempered it to focus on things I care about. 2019 H-Rock would beat you 1v1 in any game? That's a good question. Maybe. 2019? I'm thinking more of 2014 and 15. 2019 H-Rock is NVIDIA H-Rock. I probably could outgrind him now because I have more time. But I feel like 2014 H-Rock was only grinding all day. All day, every day. I was only doing something that would try to get better at something. A lot of it was stupid stuff like games. But like I was always doing. I mean, I could beat 2014 H-Rock at Hitman, 100%. There's no way he could outgrind the amount of hours I put in already. I don't know what else. Nothing, not much, like not League of Legends, he'd smoke me. Not StarCraft, he'd smoke me. Not like Shardbound or whatever. I would beat him at talking to women. Absolute Radiance, I beat him at Absolute Radiance. I'm probably stronger than him. AoE 4 Chinese mirror match. My brain, when I do a pump and dump, like AoE, I feel like it's all stored in RAM. Do you know, I played AoE and I got good at it. I really grinded it, I studied it, but I feel like I only did it for such a short period of time that, do you know, like there's that study about how you learn things. Like if you really want to remember something, you should refresh yourself every day for a week, and then like once every week, and then eventually like once every month. And that's how you keep that memory locked in. But if you only do it every day for, I don't know, 2 weeks and then never again, I think your brain just takes it out of your RAM. I feel like I probably could get it back pretty quick, but if I played AoE right now, it's not like I have any knowledge of the meta or anything. I'm trying to think of anything else at Twitch I've never told. It's such a crazy work environment.